everyone? It's KB, or Pile Driver Wrestling Podcast. Hey, today we're going to talk about one of the biggest stars, the eighth wonder of the world, who should be on the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion, and that's none other than Andre the Giant. Hey, thanks for joining me on the PDR Podcast. If you would, just click like and subscribe to this channel and turn on those notifications. That way you'll never miss anything. And if you know my saying on Old School Fridays, you know what I always say. I believe that old school paved the way for the new school, and there was none greater than Andre who paved the way for wrestling. If you don't know about Andre the Giant, then you really need to do your research, because there was none greater and bigger than Andre the Giant. As a matter of fact, Andre the Giant really got me into wrestling. When I was young, I watched Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant take on each other at WrestleMania 3. And that's when Andre got slammed by Hulk Hogan. And this guy was so big that he took up half the ring when he slammed him. I mean, he's just a big guy. He's 7'4", 520 pounds. He was born 13 pounds. He was a big boy even back then. And if you didn't know this, he was also born from France. That was his birthplace. He was a French pro wrestler. I didn't know that until I started doing some research, but his accent and stuff definitely made sense when I saw that. But he was managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan. Came out there and helped him out and was a great manager. The way WWE used him was more like a main attraction, like almost like when you go to the carnival and you want to go see like a guy who you've never seen before, like the world's strongest man or whatever. That's the way that WWF would actually have Andre as a main attraction. And so Andre his mom was Polish, his dad was from Bulgaria. So that's an interesting background as well. Andre grew up on a farm. He helped out. He went to school. He's very smart. He actually worked at a factory, and he worked on the farm. He did, of course, then he moved up to professional wrestling when he was 18, because people saw, that he was just such a big guy, and they felt like that he could become somebody one day. And sure enough, here is the Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer, man, who shocked the world, man. This guy was a freak of nature, man. He was just an amazing athlete in the ring and a great person. If you've seen those documentaries, they always talk about how great Andre was, once you got to know him. And, didn't really plan matches. He just said roll with it, and they would work out the matches inside the ring, especially him and Hulk. They traveled all around the place. Talking about Andre, he wrestled people like Big John Studd. He wrestled people like King Kong Bundy, Hulk Hogan. He was a film star as well. So if you know this about him, he was starred in one of the films called Princess and the Bride, one of the great all-time great movies. He actually partnered with Ted DiBiase to form the Mega Bucks at the time. I think it was the Mega Bucks, and they wrestled the Mega Powers. That was Macho Man and Hulk Hogan. But yeah, so him and Ted DiBiase did some work. But Andre wrestled with a lot of people, and like I said, he even wrestled in all Japan Pro Wrestling. Man, he just did everything, from NWA to throughout the world. So. But the one thing that I talked about was, that I thought was really neat was all his accolades. He was a Hall of Famer. He got into the Hall of Fame in 1993. He was a tag champ. He was a Slammy Award, which was new at the time with WWE. So he was a Slammy Award winner, when they first came out. He had the Feud of the Year in '81. He was the most embarrassing wrestler in '89, and he had the worst feud in 1989 against Big John Studd. But again, there's none bigger than Andre the Giant. And man, if you saw him on television or you saw him live, he was a spectacle to watch. You love to watch him. It was just like, my goodness, this guy was so big that he would take his hand and put it on Mean Gene Okerlund, and his whole hand would cover his head. You can go back and watch those clips, but he would hold beer cans and different cans, and it looked like a little tiny plate, soda, but that's how big this guy was. Everything seemed small to Andre the Giant. Nobody measured up to him. I mean, not even Hulk Hogan, who was as tall as he was, didn't measure up. Hulk looked up to Andre. So if you haven't, I encourage you to go look up some film on Andre the Giant. It's incredible. This guy is phenomenal. And to me, Andre belongs. I know Sports Illustrated's got him, I think it's like 16 out of 20. But to me, Andre's in the top 4 on the Mount Rushmore. There's none bigger than Andre the Giant. And Andre, we're sorry for your passing at the early age. I think he was 46 at the time. And, he died because of his condition, being so large and stuff. His body just couldn't take it. And that's why he drank a lot and things like that. But overall, man, great memories, great matches. If you hadn't watched Andre, go find some footage of Andre the Giant and watch it. Well, that's all I got for this edition of Old School Wrestling. I hope you tune in next week as we talk about another old school wrestler here on the PDR podcast. We'll see you next time.